Hello everyone and welcome. Let's take a look at the biggest headlines from across the United States and around the world covering politics, society, and the stories shaping our democracy. But before we begin, a quick request: if you believe in supporting honest and independent journalism, please hit the like button and let us know in the comments where you're watching from. Now, without further ado, let's get started. Deadly Russian strikes hammer Kyiv on eve of Trump trip to critical NATO summit. Ukraine's capital Kyiv came under a deadly Russian attack early Monday morning on the eve of a critical NATO summit in Turkey that U.S. President Donald Trump plans to attend. Massive fiery explosions lit up the night sky as ballistic missiles and drones hammered parts of the city, killing at least 9 people and wounding dozens more, city officials said. U.S. blocks long-term renewal of North American trade deal. The U.S. has declined to renew the landmark U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement in its current form, according to a senior U.S. official. This decision means the trilateral trade pact will miss out on an automatic 16-year extension. The official said the administration chose not to rubber stamp a USMCA renewal without addressing existing issues, and that the United States did not agree to renew the USMCA in its current form. Rare copy of U.S. Declaration of Independence found by volunteer in UK archives. A rare surviving copy of the Declaration of Independence has been discovered at the National Archives in Kew, the only known example of its kind outside the U.S. The document was uncovered by a volunteer in February while cataloging the papers of Royal Navy captains from the American Revolutionary War. Iran's supreme leader absent as senior officials attend Ayatollah's funeral. Iran's supreme leader Mojtaba Khamenei was conspicuously absent from his father's funeral as senior regime figures joined thousands paying their respects to the late Ayatollah on Sunday. Ali Khamenei's other 3 sons, Masoud, Mustafa, and Maysam, all attended the service on Sunday, alongside officials including President Masoud Pezeshkian and Revolutionary Guard's Chief Ahmad Vahidi. Putin and Trump held busyness-like 90-minute July 4th call. Moscow says Russian President Vladimir Putin spoke with Donald Trump on a July 4th call lasting nearly 90 minutes, in which the U.S. leader again offered to help end the Ukraine war, according to Russia's foreign ministry. The call came ahead of a critical NATO summit in Turkey, starting Tuesday, that the U.S. president plans to attend, and as Russian forces stepped up efforts to take more of Ukraine's eastern Donetsk region, a key objective for the Kremlin. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's wedding was the spectacle you expected it to be. In the end, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's marriage was announced to the world like something out of one of her music videos. Billboards outside of Madison Square Garden lit up in purple with the message, "Justin T. married," announcing the news to those on the streets of Midtown Manhattan and the entire globe. Paul Pelosi involved in hit-and-run in California and could face charges, authorities say. Former House Speaker Pelosi's husband was involved in a hit-and-run Friday in California's wine country that left 1 car with major damage, according to local authorities who said the 86-year-old could face misdemeanor charges. Paul Pelosi was driving his brown convertible in Uintville, a small town in Napa County, when he struck a legally parked car on the side of the road, briefly stopped, and then drove away. Massive fireworks celebrations light up New York City. New York City's annual 4th of July fireworks show attracted huge crowds as Americans celebrated the nation's historic 250th birthday. Organizers launched more than 85,000 fireworks over the city's skyline, after adjusting the schedule because of weather concerns. While the event was widely praised, small fire incidents on the Brooklyn Bridge were quickly contained, and emergency crews reported no major injuries. Security tightened during nationwide Independence Day events. Federal and local law enforcement significantly increased security measures for Independence Day celebrations across the country. Authorities monitored large public gatherings, particularly in Washington, D.C., where weather-related evacuations briefly interrupted festivities. Officials reported that enhanced security plans helped ensure public safety during one of the largest national celebrations in recent U.S. history. Massive fireworks celebrations light up New York City. New York City's annual 4th of July fireworks show attracted huge crowds as Americans celebrated the nation's historic 250th birthday. Organizers launched more than 85,000 fireworks over the city's skyline, after adjusting the schedule because of weather concerns. While the event was widely praised, small fire incidents on the Brooklyn Bridge were quickly contained, and emergency crews reported no major injuries. Dangerous heat wave and severe storms sweep across the U.S. Millions of Americans remain under weather alerts as an intense heat wave combines with powerful thunderstorms across several states. Heavy rain, damaging winds, and lightning caused disruptions to Independence Day events, while hundreds of thousands experienced power outages. Emergency officials continue urging residents to stay indoors, remain hydrated, and prepare for additional severe weather expected through the weekend. U.S. stock market ends week on a strong note. U.S. stock markets closed the week higher, as investors responded positively to stronger than expected economic data and renewed confidence in corporate earnings. Major indexes posted gains led by technology and financial stocks. Market analysts said improving labor market conditions helped boost investor sentiment, although uncertainty surrounding future interest rate decisions and global economic developments continues to influence trading activity. NASA advances next moon mission preparations. NASA continues preparing for its next Artemis mission, with engineers completing key tests on spacecraft systems and launch equipment. The mission is designed to expand human exploration of the moon and support future missions to Mars. Officials say progress remains on track, although final safety reviews and technical evaluations will determine the exact launch schedule in the coming months. Texas flood disaster leaves communities reeling. Deadly flash flooding swept across parts of central Texas after torrential rain caused rivers to rise within hours. Emergency crews carried out dozens of water rescues while thousands of residents were urged to evacuate low-lying neighborhoods. Roads and bridges were damaged, and power outages affected several communities. State officials continue search and rescue operations as forecasters warn that additional rainfall could trigger renewed flooding in vulnerable areas. Trump marks America's 250th birthday with major national address. President Donald Trump delivered a high-profile speech during the United States' 250th Independence Day celebration in Washington, D.C. Despite severe thunderstorms and extreme heat, thousands gathered on the National Mall for the event. Trump praised America's history, honored military members and astronauts, and called for national unity while also addressing key political issues. The celebration concluded with a large fireworks display that drew nationwide attention.